Welcome to the iPad Possibilities Podcast, episode number 51, Mac Tools for iPad. Welcome, my name is Tim and I'm the host of this show, and today I'll be diving into some different tools that can enhance your iPad experience, tools from the Mac, and also enhance your Mac experience, tools that are available on the iPad to enhance your experience when you're using your Macintosh. So that's going to be the focus this week. I wanted to let you know I will be wrapping up the music segment next week or the week after. It is taking me a little bit longer to get my head around some of these very advanced applications so I can present it in an easy to understand manner. So I'm still working on that, but those are still coming out, some very advanced applications that I'm really looking forward to understanding more and helping everyone else understand how they work. So that'll be next week or the week after. But for today and this week, I bring you some pretty awesome tools I've been using to enhance my iPad and my Mac. So let's dive right into it after one quick bit of news. So as many people are aware, the iPhone is now available for pre-order, and a kind of cool thing happened. The Mac Mini got a very nice refresh, a lot thinner. It's got an HDMI port and a lot of great things like that. But I think it's interesting that Apple is updating this Mac Mini to be more like a media center and kind of a content serving device now. And perhaps they're doing this so people buy their Mac Minis with their iPads, so they have the content server and the content receiver as the iPad is. Say using Air Video or some other tools like that. I think it's pretty interesting the way Apple is enhancing the Mac Mini and really turning it into an entertainment serving device for both your big screen TV and even your iPad through Air Video and even just syncing through the USB cable. So that's pretty interesting. And also I want to mention a pretty cool hack that someone actually did this week. They managed to take out an iPad 3G and get rid of those AT&T broadband antennas and swap it with the innards of a Verizon MiFi, which is pretty cool because now we have a Verizon iPad. Really, it's kind of remarkable what you're able to do with hacking away. And the Verizon MiFi is basically just replacing the innards of the AT&T signals, and it's all hooked up to the iPad's battery, and it looked like a pretty cool way of getting Verizon on your iPad. A little bit more expensive, but it works. So I just want to let everyone know about that pretty amazing hack. With that said, let's jump right into some of the great tools I've been discovering and using for my iPad. So the first tool that I want to talk about is from Elgato. They make this pretty amazing product called Turbo 264 HD, and it can be had from around $100 upwards to $150 depending on where you purchase it. And what this is it's a little USB dongle that the purpose of it is to offload kind of the heavy-duty hardware processing and CPU load cycles that need to happen when you're encoding video for your iPad or whatever. And it takes a bunch of the power needed from your Mac and just puts it onto the stick instead of your Mac. So your Mac does some of the work, but a lot of the work, most of the work actually comes from this little USB stick. It comes with its own software to provide a great experience in encoding, and it gives you the chapter markings, different audio tracks, and that all translates really well over to the iPad. So if you're someone that's looking for a way to get your DVDs ripped and encoded for your iPad, if you're looking for a way to transcode files, different videos over to an iPad-friendly way and not spend a lifetime doing it, this is a really great product. It's I'm in the process of converting a whole bunch of DVDs, over 100 to 200, our entire collection, over to Apple TV and iPad format, and would have taken several months has been brought down to a couple days worth of encoding time. It is just truly remarkable what Elgato's managed to do with this Turbo 264 HD. The image quality is fantastic on both the iPad and the Apple TV, and I've just been very impressed. It's able to retain surround sound for DVDs that have that. For those that don't, it obviously doesn't, but it's just a pretty remarkable product by Elgato. So that was the first tool of mention, as many people are looking for ways to sync over video content to their iPad, and this is a really great Mac tool to do that. Well, the next tool is, of course, Evernote. Evernote has been one of my favorite applications for the iPad since day one. One of my favorite applications for the iPhone and the Mac. It's also available on the PC, Windows, and a bunch of different platforms. And this is the tool I use to get a bunch of my content, most of my content, onto my iPad, as far as text files, notes, different audio recordings, and just all sorts of things, books even, PDFs or whatever. So Evernote is quite a remarkable piece of software that runs on your Mac or Windows-based machine, and there's a counterpart application for your iPad. And the syncing is really what makes this amazing. You're able to sync your entire content, if you're a premium user, over to your iPad for offline viewing. And Evernote, I think, is a program that everyone should dive into and kind of learn the power of it, because I think it'll be a great tool to enhance both your iPad experience and your Mac experience. Once again, it's called Evernote. It's at evernote.com, and I just find it an incredibly useful program that a lot of people should start to adapt into their own lifestyle as far as how they record and remember all of their thoughts. So that's Evernote, and that's a very cool app that doesn't really matter what platform you're on. So it's pretty awesome. I'd recommend checking it out. So another very cool program that I can't believe I have not talked about this before. It came out a few weeks ago by Ecamm, and it's called PadSync. And PadSync, as it sounds, it's a $10 application for the Mac, and what it does is once you open PadSync, it will instantly sync all of your documents that are on your iPad to your Mac without you touching anything. You just open it up. If your iPad is connected to your Mac, it instantly syncs it over the USB connection, and it's mirrored. The files are mirrored on both your iPad and your Mac. This kind of fixes the problem that iPad users have been plagued with. The problem of having two files that we have to keep on replacing the file. We can't be working from the same file because we have to export and import, and all of that big mess is now solved through PadSync. What you're able to do is, after it syncs, and it only takes a couple seconds because the files typically aren't that big, but once it's synced, you can, within PadSync, double click on any file. So say you have a Pages document, say you have OmniGraffle, huge, art graph that visually links things together. You're able to take those documents, and within PadSync, just double click. It will open the appropriate desktop application. So it'll open up Pages or Numbers or Keynote, and you can make your edits on your Mac. And then once you save them, it instantly syncs back over to the iPad. This alleviates the whole problem of having those two files, because you don't see the file ever. You just open PadSync, and you don't have to deal with a file system. Just like on the iPad, there is no file system for PadSync. You just open up the file that you know it's from. Say it's a Pages document. You open that up from within PadSync. Pages opens up. You edit the document. You do all your work, and you save it, and it magically syncs back over to your iPad. You don't have to worry about where to save it to. They're all stored without your site, so you can be working on all your documents and not have to worry about dealing with all the stupid version numbers. This is a huge problem that I've tried to find a solution for, and PadSync is the first app that really solves this problem. It's only $10. It's at ecam.com, and I've not received any free copies of this or anything like that, but I just have to say, from my own personal experience of using it, it is well worth the $10 to alleviate a lot of confusion. I've gotten confusion for myself when working on files. Which version number is this? Because each time you work from a Pages document, you have to export and import and all of that really just crazy nonsense stuff. So with Ecamm, the PadSync application, it is, I hate to say this, but a magical Mac app to alleviate this big headache that has plagued Mac users and even Windows users for as long as the iPad's been around. And this is something that Apple should have done from day one, but I'm glad Ecamm is there to save the day. So it's called PadSync at ecam.com. It's only $10, and I think it's pretty amazing, kind of an essential Mac app for any iPad user out there. So that was the last big one as far as tools to enhance your iPad experience. Now I want to move to some tools that are more towards enhancing your Mac experience. So the first one, I've talked about this app before, and I did receive a free copy of this app. It's called Air Display, and it's by the same guys that did Air Sharing HD. And this app, as it sounds, it's an Air Display, a wireless display for your Mac. So say you're on the road with your MacBook Air and you're working on some stuff that you want some more screen real estate. Air Display will virtually double your 13-inch MacBook or MacBook Air display and alleviate some of that space that you need for palettes and things onto your iPad. And it works remarkably well. The refresh times are great, and they're constantly working at improving it. And it's one of the essential apps, I think, that should be on every iPad as long as you're a Mac user. They're working on Windows versions, but this is a great tool. It's $10 that turns your iPad into a display. It's really remarkable, and I can't wait until they add multi-iPad support and all these other great things, but it's pretty remarkable. I'd recommend picking it up, and I use it quite a bit because I'm currently working from my Mac Mini with one display, and since Air Display came out, I felt no need to set up my second display, because whenever I need a second display, I just plug in my iPad and I'm off and running. So Air Display is pretty remarkable, and it's in the App Store now for $10. So the next app to enhance your Mac experience is iTeleport. iTeleport is an amazing VNC application. It's universal, so it works on all of your iDevices. And what it does is it allows you to view, to control your Macintosh. And it is very incredible because it works through Google. With your Google login ID, you're able to remote into your Mac anywhere in the world, over 3G, over any kinds of means possible, and it just works. It loads up fast. I'm able to work on my Mac. I'm able to publish podcasts from my iPad using iTeleport. And I have to say, it is an incredible tool that I can't believe I went without for so long on the iPhones. Before, I had problems finding a tool that would actually work anywhere in the world. And iTeleport came along, and it's been just a magical little app that allows me to access my Mac Mini from anywhere in the world and kind of check up how it's doing, how different projects I'm working on, or the status and all that. And it's just wonderful. It's $25 in the App Store, and that one I did pay for as once again. So that's a pretty awesome app. That is a great tool to enhance your Mac experience. The next app is called Remote Pro. and this is an amazing app to enhance your Mac experience. Now imagine this use case. You've got your brand new Mac Mini, HDMI equipped, hooked up to your big screen TV. Now, why would you want a keyboard and mouse with that? You wouldn't. It would be ridiculous to do that. Why would you want a keyboard and mouse in your living room? So with Remote Pro, you don't need that kind of stuff. It instantly turns into a zero latency trackpad and keyboard. And it is remarkable. I've been able to work off my iPad as my only input device for Mac Mini while I recharge my Bluetooth batteries and all those kinds of things, and it's just as fast as it was with the mouse. It is pretty amazing. Before, when I tried these, the latency just didn't work for full replacement of any input devices, but the software, the applications have come along so far that we don't have latency anymore with apps like Remote Pro. We don't have any kind of issues like that. They simply just work, and this can save people hundreds of dollars that they would spend otherwise on input devices. This is the magic trackpad that we saw rumored all that time ago. We can just use our iPads as our input devices as needed, and it is an amazing tool. So that's Remote Pro. It's a couple bucks in the App Store, and once again, a great application to enhance your Mac experience. The final tool or app to enhance your Mac experience is kind of a fun one. It's called Magic Window. And as I've talked about it before, Magic Window is something that you just have running while you're working on your main computer to provide amazing, beautiful scenery to just look at. It's living pictures, feels like you're in Harry Potter with just living images, and it's pretty remarkable. It's just so beautiful to be working your Mac and then just glance over to the scene, the nightlife scene, or the sunset or sunrise or whatever it may be. It's just pretty incredible to just glance over and feel relaxed because of the beauty. It's living images. It's something that we've always dreamed of. Or not always, but something that we've seen in movies. How these images just move. They feel alive. They feel like something incredible. And it's such a cool application. It's Magic Window. And it's something that I thought was kind of weird. Why would I want to have that kind of app? Why don't I just use my own images? But once I got it, I understood it. There's over 20 different scenes. They continually add scenes. And it's just an incredible application to enhance your Mac experience or Windows experience. It's just something to have up and running as just a beautiful picture frame. It's called Magic Window. It's pretty incredible. And that kind of wraps up the different tools that I thought were important to share with everybody, that I thought would be of great benefit to you. So those are just some of the apps that I use on a semi-daily basis. And they're apps that I found that really make everything just work so much better. I'm not frustrated by some of the limitations of the iPad because of some of these apps out there. PadSync is one great example. You don't have the versioning problem anymore. Air display makes it so, hey, I don't need a second real monitor anymore. Remote Pro makes it so I don't even need input devices anymore. I can just have my iPad as my one and only input device. Elgato Turbo 264 HD, a great app and hardware device to make your Mac a good video encoder. Most people don't have high-end machines anymore. Mac Minis work great with this little stick. And really, Mac Pros are on their way out because most people just need, fast video encoding. And with Elgato's Turbo 264 HD, that problem is solved. So These are some really great tools that I just wanted to spend some time and share. And if you have any tools that you found that you've used to enhance either your iPad or your Mac experience, please let me know. I'd love to share those on the show. So you can email me at iPadPossibilities@gmail.com or call in at 209-542-iPad. That's 209-542-iPad. And just call in, leave your message. I'd love to share some of the tools you guys are using, because I think there's a lot of tools out there that I might not know about, other listeners might not know about, and would really help them out. So I'd appreciate it if you could send those in. It'd be great. And finally today, I'd like to just let you guys know, for the Saturday show I was talking about at PodCamp Ohio, I've got the timing narrowed down. It'll be immediately after lunch is when we're going to be starting up with doing a joint show with the iPad show. If you go to iPadshow.com, all the info will be there, as well as the Possibilities Network. I'll have the info when I get it. But immediately after lunch, so around 1:30 or 2 o'clock, you can expect the live show from Ohio. And what we'll be discussing is using the iPad to get ready for a podcast, to record a podcast, and to publish a podcast. It'll be all about podcasting from an iPad, sort of the podcaster episode, kind of more advanced now, hopefully, that there's some more tools out there for us. So it should be a really great show, really great episode, and you can catch the live show over at iPadshow.com this Saturday around 2 o'clock, 1:30. Just watch my Twitter feed, TCHATEN, and I'll try to keep everyone updated there, but it should be a great episode. And with that said, let's get to how you can actually support this podcast. So the best way to support this podcast is by becoming a premium member. With the premium membership, you get ad-free versions of the podcast. You get podcast releases Monday, Wednesday, Friday instead of Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and a bunch of just extra great things for being a member. It really helps me out to know that I have financial backing to cover the cost of hosting the show and all that kind of stuff. So by becoming a premium member for only $2 a month, it's very low cost. I want to make sure everyone who wanted to support the show could. So if you just go to thepossibilitiesnetwork.com, you can find out all the information there about the premium show. It's $2 a month, and it's all done through PayPal. So the second way to support this show is through iTunes. In the App Store, we have an iPad Possibilities podcast app. It's $2.99, and you get the episodes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with that app. So 24 hours in advance, and a couple video episodes every now and then. I've done one so far, but I'll throw those in every now and then. And it's $2.99 in the App Store. And finally, in iTunes, you can rate and review this show, and that really helps other listeners and people interested in the iPad know what this show is all about. So those are the ways to support this show. If you just take some of your time and do some of those, it'd be great, and I would just really appreciate it. So with that said, I will return again to you guys on the Friday, Saturday show, and then on the Saturday show for the live show, we'll be doing Ohio. So lots of episodes this week, and then once again, we will have a Sunday show as always. So Sunday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when we get kicked off for that show, and then this Saturday around 1:30 p.m., 2 o'clock, we'll have a live show from PodCamp Ohio. So thanks for listening, and until next time, this is Tim Chatton of the iPad Possibilities Podcast.